Catfish Weekly, Monsters on the Ohio from Owensboro, Kentucky at Bass and More. Welcome, everybody. We have Bink Fox with us. Bink, how's it going?
Oh, very good.
You putting Enchanted on some fish?
Well, of course.
Is she catching any of them?
Well, sure.
Okay.
I'm just not allowed to talk no snacks. I gotta be careful what I say here. She
I
lays the
understand.
law.
I understand how that goes. Well, I'm glad to see you guys made it down here and had a safe trip and everything. And it looks like it's going to be another outstanding turnout.
Oh yeah. Aaron said probably 170 boats.
It looks like it. I know the motel's full and everybody's boats right beside each other. There's hardly any room to get in and out.
Right.
It's going to be a lot of fun. What do you got for him, Chuck?
She letting you catch any?
Oh, I did land a couple this week.
Good. It's hard to beat her to the rod, isn't it?
Oh yeah. She let me catch that 1 8-incher there.
Bless her heart.
Right. Well, y'all plan on staying on this pool, or y'all gonna make long runs, or?
As of right now, it looks like we're gonna be staying on this pool.
Great. There's some good fish on this pool.
We're gonna give it our best shot. See what we can come up with on this pool right here this year.
Do you usually lock through on previous years?
Yeah, we've done both. We've locked through. We've stayed on the pool. We've tried everything. So.
Always ends up about the same.
That's right. That's why we came down a couple days early this year. But until after Saturday, we don't know if it'll work or not.
Right. You find your spots, and you don't know if they're really holding the fish on Saturday as they were the day you found them, and you really don't want to go back to check because you don't want nobody to see where you're going, because there's so many boats going up down the river that you can easily give away a spot that can never be noticed unless that they actually found it the same way you did.
You're exactly right, Chuck.
Sometimes when you go pre-fish, you just you go a different direction than you're usually going to fish, just to might see another plan that you may want, and just stay away from your A plan. But I had a plan A, B, and C last year. For my first spot in the morning, all 3 spots were taken. When I got to it, we launched 42nd. I don't have the fastest boat in the world. Has that happened to you yet? You get to your spot and the boat's on it?
Sure it happens. And we try to make sure we got an early number, but I'm the same situation you are, Chuck. My boat, 38 mile an hour max. You got to probably a different strategy than you would if you had a bigger engine.
Right.
That don't mean you can't win. I mean, no matter what size engine, you just got to put a different strategy in fact. And sometimes it works for you.
Yeah, just because you can't get there first, somebody might be sitting on the spot, and the fish may not be feeding at that time, and you may go back the time of day where you've got some bites, when you was pre-fishing, and they may have started biting right away. So, you can sit on fish all day long, and they might not want to feed.
Yeah, you never know. And there's times when we threw a drift on and not even graph a fish and end up filling the boat up. So,
right.
Yeah, you just don't know. Of course, we got a cold front coming, so that's going to change things a little bit. And, hopefully, it's for the better for me.
So these guys viewing the show that has never come and participated on the Monsters of the Ohio, what would you tell them about coming down here and giving it a shot? And what would you tell them?
Oh, just the people you meet. To me, that's better than anything. We meet a lot of good people. We traveled across the United States for several years now, and for us, it's like a family reunion. We come and see our buddies that we ain't seen for a year or so. So if you want to learn to catfish and meet good people, I'd say the Monsters. That's where they're all at.
Right. And where else can you go and compete and meet so many different people, compete against them, and everybody's got the same chance of winning. It don't matter what anybody's resume is. It can be your first tournament. Everybody's got fishing under the same conditions. All it takes is finding the right structure and getting on them. And if you're there at the right time, at the right place, you can be standing up there with that first place plaque and big fish.
Yeah, it's being at the right spot, right time. There's a lot of skill involved, but there's a lot of luck involved.
There is a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
And it's just giving them what they want.
yeah. The most of the skill part that I've seen is going out and finding these places that the fish are going to be on tournament day, or doing your research before you go, and having your plan down. So you're not out there on tournament day looking for fish. You already know what you're going to do, and you can keep lines in the water instead of running up and down the bank with your fish finder trying to find them during the tournament.
Right. Yeah, you're definitely not going to catch anything driving your boat during
That's
the
right.
tournament. They're out there. There's plenty of big fish out there.
Okay, what you got for him, Lyle?
Did you have any trouble finding bait this year, James?
Of course. I always have problems finding bait.
Well, it
I
seems
don't
like
know.
I do too, but I thought it was just me, but I'm glad to know it's not.
The bait gods don't work well for me. I think most people in catfish should know that. For some reason, I don't know. We just, whatever plan I come up with, like we were down here since Sunday. Well, I get a phone call Monday and they say skipjacks are loaded at my hometown, and I'm down here.
That's what Janet said. She said y'all were catching skipjacks that y'all could crappie fish with.
Yeah. So it's always an issue with me. No matter where, if I'd stayed home and caught my skipjack and come down today, I've been in great shape. But, I've seen friends of mine sending me pictures on the phone, their cores, skipjacks in them.
Wow.
And they haven't been up there all summer long. And they just decided to come on to Ohio. Well, I'm in Kentucky, so.
Well, maybe you can get back in time to load up for some for this winter when you get
Sure.
back. Yeah, sometimes they don't hang around long. They'll come in and out, and if you blink, you're stuck all winter without bait, and that's terrible. Not having bait during the winter, because that's my favorite time to fish. And if you don't take that time out from catfishing and go out and have the priority of getting your bait and being prepared for a tournament coming up or your fun fishing, it can really hurt you for your winter fishing.
Right. Now, my winter fishing, we're fortunate in that part. The Asian carp's not real thick up there, and we still have some shad. And in the wintertime, they're really easy to catch. So I use shad in the wintertime for the most part, and it does just about as good as anything else.
Oh, yeah, shad is a very good wintertime bait. And you can get some shad that bigger than skipjack, the 16, 17 inch.
Sure.
And they really put off a good scent trail when you cut those boogers up.
Work out really good. Well, James, thank you so much for being on the
problem.
show with us tonight. You got
always.
some sponsors you'd like to talk about before we go?
Rippin' Lips is my sponsor. They did a great job. Matter of fact, there's some rods right there on
There
the wall.
sure is.
And Dennis and John and the rest of them is really good people. And
we had John on the show here a while back. What an outstanding guy.
Oh, yeah, he
is.
Stand-up
guy.
And so is Dennis. And Dennis, I thought Dennis may show up this weekend, but it looks like he's got things to do. But John's going to be here, so
good deal.
Anybody need anything or want to ask any questions to him, I'm sure he'll be available.
I'm sure he will. He's very helpful to a lot of people. Thanks again for being on the show.
No problem.
Good luck in the tournament.
All right, thanks, Jack.
Cindy, who you got? Rob? Hey, Rob, how you doing?
Good. How we doing?
We're great.
Chuck, how are you?
Great,
Well,
How's it going?
good.
We have Rob Clodfelder with Whisker Wear Apparel with us now. Rob is a title sponsor for Catfish Weekly. He has come down to fish Monsters on the Ohio. Does it get any better?
No, it's great. It's a great event. It's a good time. A lot of good people coming together, for a good event. So it's I'm excited for it.
Yeah, we look forward to this all year, as most people do, and it's just a lot of fun and a very well run event. It's you know, I can't imagine anybody that is serious tournament fisherman that wouldn't want to be here.
No, I agree. If you're going to tournament for catfish, you got to come to this one.
I think Aaron was saying a while ago with Chuck that he had some guys come 700-800 miles one way.
Yeah.
That
speaks volumes, huh?
it really does. I don't know what
It's not
else
cheap to do that, so you know that, and they're going to have to really place high to pay for that trip. So you know they're here for the experience, right?
That's exactly it.
I mean, this is my vacation for the year.
Exactly right.
You know, I put money back, and instead of going to the beach and running around the sand down there, I come up here to Owensboro, and I'm a river rat by heart anyway, so I don't belong on the beach.
Right.
But that's what I choose to do for my vacation every year instead of going to the Smoky Mountains, what other people do and stuff. And it's just, you just don't have to, at the spur of the moment say, well, I think I'm going to go, the Monsteers on Ohio. If you want to fish this, start saving right now for next year.
Yeah.
And it's no burden at all. You got your money, reserve your hotel room. And you're set, man. That's great here.
Aaron and the city of Owensboro are a benchmark for what other tournaments should follow in terms of how to open your arms and welcome the catfishing industry into your county and your city. It's just incredible. I mean, you're treated like VIPs everywhere you go. We got another guest.
Hey,
We
come here,
do.
buddy. Look what we got. Come here, buddy.
Looks a lot like Jason Kittner.
It does look like Jason Kittner.
We got Mo. that's my new buddy.
Yeah. You guys sharing a bed?
Yeah, we're sharing a double bed. Mo slept with me the first night, and then last night Mo slept with Daddy, and I slept with Toad. We'll have Toad on in a little while. He's a little sweetheart, but say hey to everybody. Hey.
30 seconds of fame.
Heck yeah.
Now he's all over media. I see him all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's great. He's got his own Facebook page.
Yeah.
Toad's part of the Facebook page now, so they have to share it, which they share everything. But
yeah,
he's a good little fisher. Toad, we took Toad in the boat yesterday for the first time, and Mo stayed at home guarding the bait.
Right.
And Toad worked out really good in the boat. He did really good job.
Yeah.
He was a good boy all day.
That's awesome. Rob, what's new with Whiskerware Apparel?
Well, this next year for Whiskerware, we'll be moving into the retail arena a little more strongly. We've got Massamore was one of our first retail shops here, and they've got there, as you can see, they've carried a pretty good supply of it now, and that's kind of the focus for the next 12 to 15 months is to move more retail and a little bit less online, to be honest. I think it's the right step for the company. We got new graphics coming out in the next couple months.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's a couple of pretty exciting graphics coming up. So there'll be some new looks for Whiskerware, new material. So
Good.
moving slowly, but always the right direction, I guess. So,
Yeah, and your designer does a great job on the stuff you've already got out, and every time a new design comes out, it's just notches above the last.
He's I'm still using a young man who he's an artist, a hometown artist, all through high school, and he's just gifted. And that's one of the things I wanted. I wanted original artwork. You won't find the artwork anywhere else. It's this guy draws the artwork. I have started to do some things with some angler pictures and some of the editing that I can do for those. Put on shirts, but primarily it's all hand drawn artwork. From a very talented artist, Dave Sowers. So we've got some good things happening. It's
I've seen one that's a guy holding a blue cat on the back you sent me.
Yep.
It looks just like Justin Connor.
It sure does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the photo editing that we're doing. Yeah. That's,
Yeah.
I talked to Justin about that. I said, hey, what do you think we try some with that picture? And he said, what are you thinking? So I talked to you about the software. I think actually I saw, I think it was Leanne's picture she had on one of your Facebook pages.
Right.
I got hold of that software and I put that picture in there, and this looks awesome. I said, that's great. I said, how about a Justin Connor graphic? He was all about it. He just grins, and that kid, Tay Justin and Tabitha Lindenville. I mean, those
Great folks.
Oh my goodness, it's such an inspiration for the sport. And those are exactly what the sport needs.
They are.
And then the generation following them. The Mitchell boy and Connor
Jason.
King and
Jacob.
and Stitcher and Milan Sites,
Yep.
that's exactly what the sport has to have to continue to go the right direction. And that's another thing that Whisker is really trying to maintain a presence in is bringing the youth, into the sport, keep them involved and make it exciting. And I honestly, over the next few months, we're going to try to get a little more involved in some of the collegiate efforts going on with catfishing. I don't know what we can offer there, but I want to get a hold of stuff with a couple of the guys that are driving those activities and
That's great.
see if we can help out a little bit, because that's where it's at, the next
Right.
generation. So
It is, and my thinking is the people that you and I working with now, I feel like we're kind of grooming them to take all the old guys' place one of these days.
that's very true.
And I think we're getting the right guys.
That's very true.
Milan is really good. Jacob Stitcher and Connor King. I can't say enough about them kids. They just get it on. They do what they're supposed to do. They promote themselves in a professional manner, and to be 12, 13, 14 years old, where are you going to find better students of catfishing than those guys?
Right. I have the opportunity to see Connor a little more than I do the others, just because of geographic,
Right.
relationship. But he's always interested in telling me about his grades and how he's doing in school. And I mean, we talk catfishing, obviously, because the kid can catfish, right? So I'm always trying to pry him for information and secret spots and all that stuff. But he usually brings it back to Dad told me not to talk about that kind of stuff. No. But we do talk about his grades. He's just doing the right things, and it's actually, I think, it's been a kind of a steam boost to him. I think it's actually driven him in other areas of his life, and I think that's what it's all about.
I really think it has driven Jacob to a higher level.
Sure.
Jacob is such a good boy, and I think Connor is a little. I'll meet him later this afternoon.
Sure.
But Jacob's wound.
Right.
He's tight.
Right.
And I visited with his parents, and I visited with his teachers and stuff when we was talking about doing this. And his focus level, from what I'm seeing, has grown tremendously.
Yeah.
And you can't take that or add to it because it's something that comes to him because he wants it so bad.
Yeah.
And those are the guys that will be the Daryl and Jason Maskengills and the Jeff Dobbs of the future.
That's for sure. For sure. So going in the right direction, and I appreciate all the work that you two do, and with the show, it's great. I think it's also going in the right direction, and we're happy to be part of that, and we'll continue to be a part of that as long as you'll have us. So
we can't thank you enough for everything you do, and not only with Catfish Weekly, but for all the tournaments that you help support and all the other stuff you do. And we need you in the sport, and we hope that you're involved with it and us for years to come. And thank you so much for what you do.
Appreciate that, and that's our plan. So we're glad to be involved.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about some other product line you got. I noticed you have the new Under Armour type shirt.
Yeah, performance shirt. Yeah.
Yes, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any other things that you've got coming out? Are you going to get into hats?
Yes, yeah. Hats have been it's been a project for me. To find a good, affordable hat because my hat they'll be embroidered. There will be no screen print of the hats. And so that's been kind of the hold up here as of late.
Quality.
Quality for the right price.
Right.
People don't want to pay $40 for a hat.
Right.
So you got to get a good price. So we're there. I'm hoping by the holiday time frame, I'll have hats available. Not only build hats, but also beanies or stocking caps. So hats are one. I'm really starting to push the Solar Bat relationship, the Solar Bat sunglasses.
Great product.
Yeah, they are. It's very good. It's a very good company. It's a small company. He makes quality sunglasses, and we're probably see a Whiskerware label sunglass in the next year.
Awesome.
From that company. So that relationship's going well. But other than the hoodies, the shirts, the performance apparel is a big hit, and it's great material. I mean, that stuff is if you haven't tried some, you need to try some. That stuff is warm, cool, dries quick, it wicks moisture, and it washes great. Stains come out. It's just awesome material.
Yeah, when you're going out fishing in the morning and it's cold, and the temperature is going to raise during the day, you have to have that type of equipment to get out there and fish and to be comfortable. You cannot do a good job if you're not comfortable in the boat.
Right.
And you don't want to go all day and, having to change clothes. Dropping layers is fine.
Yeah.
But, when you get something like that against your skin, you're fine all day just dropping layers, and you don't have to be out there in the middle of the lake, changing clothes and shirts and stuff like that.
And it's good. It's good
awesome.
for a hot day. Keep the sun off of you and keep you cool. So we got a lot of things coming down the pike.
I love them in wintertime. When you first put them on, they're real cold.
Yeah.
But when you get layered in the wintertime and you got your if you wear Gore-Tex or whatever, that is something perfect and breathable that goes under. I'm really impressed in the quality of those sports shirts you got.
Well, I'll tell you, the mask,
bat mask. Yeah.
The bat
those are.
Yeah.
Cindy wrestled
Yeah.
ours away from me.
Yeah.
She wears them religiously.
Yeah.
She believes in them. She likes them.
Yeah.
Keeps the wind off. If there's any bugs, it keeps the bug off.
Yeah.
It don't keep the Asian carp off.
No, it'll still bump you good. Yeah.
But the windshield pretty much takes care of that. But
Yeah.
she's in love with them. They work really well. Excellent product.
Yeah, I think to be honest, we kind of rejuvenated that bat mask because that was kind of a product line he wasn't sure about. But last year, I said, man, I know people that wear that, and we sold a lot of those last year because I wear them. This makes sense.
They do.
I wouldn't
They
try to
make
sell
sense.
something I'm not going to wear.
That's right. And
Yeah.
I love mine.
That's right.
So,
Yeah. And I just want to say I appreciate you coming in and doing this for catfishing. And I mean, this is a big chance you're taking on starting something like this in an industry that hasn't quite proven itself yet.
Right.
And just to look around and see how many people is wearing your apparel now, I mean, it's just so impressive. It's a great fashion.
Yeah.
And, that's what the sport needs. Something that gives a statement, that says, hey, bass guys, y'all ain't nothing. Look at what we are.
Yeah.
Look what we do. Look at the fish we catch.
Right.
And that's what our sport needs. It's something that's going to throw us beyond the other types of species that are being fished for out there.
And I appreciate that. That was the driver behind the concept was you couldn't go buy something to show your pride in catfishing. Really, you could find here and there hit and miss graphic of a catfish on a shirt somewhere, but it was a bass or pretty much
yeah.
it was it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's kind of the
Yeah,
driver.
and like the other day, Lan says, well, what's he said about bringing out the comforter with the big flat head or blue on it?
I know, yeah, that's what she's
I
talking
said
about.
that would be awesome. You walk in your bedroom and there lays a 70-pound flathead on your bed, or a 85-pound blue laying on your bed. I mean, that would just be awesome.
Well, I've been trying to talk Tabitha Linville. I always tease her and Justin about that big wedding date they haven't set yet. So I always tease her about the first Whiskerware imprinted wedding dress.
Yeah.
That we'd be happy to sponsor her wedding dress.
Slime coat.
Yeah, she's kind of likes the idea. I think so. It could happen. You never
That'd be
know.
awesome.
I mean, I could see them doing it at something like the Monsteers On The Ohio.
Yeah, you never know. Could happen.
Absolutely.
Or at least him proposing to her
Right.
at it, So, that's what's really going to be done. I think when he finally does it, he's going to make it right, and it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah,
Sure.
they're great people to have in our sport.
They
They're
sure
good
are.
guys.
On their way, as a matter of fact. Just had to work late, but they're on their way now. So
They'll be here.
Yeah,
for
last year he got. I mean, I don't see how he did it. I think they left right after the tournament last year and drove back. didn't
yeah.
they? Well, Tabitha didn't come last year.
No,
just
no,
saying.
just Justin.
Just
again
us.
with
But
his
I
buddy.
believe he drove all the way here, just had time to fish, and drove all the way back.
Right.
I think that's right. Well, Rob, thanks again for being on the show with us. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
everything you do for the sport, and good luck in the tournament.
Yeah, you too. Good luck.
All right, buddy.
Take care.
Thanks. Rob Clodfelder. If you guys need any clothing, apparel, stuff to wear when you're fishing Monsters of Ohio, Chuck, I don't think that you can beat those monsters, them hoodies that Rob's got.
The the hoodies are excellent. I've got plenty of hoodies. For the college football team I support. And they got the authentic brands. That cost a lot of money. And I've got one hoodie that I buy at the college store. It's got the Alabama Auburn store, and it was $60. It was a gift. I didn't buy it, but it's just as good as the authentic hoodies that you get in these expensive clothing stores.
Yep, it's very good quality stuff, and it's a very reasonable price. We just had Jason Malone walk into the set. How's it going, buddy?
Good. How are you, lot?
We're great.
You
Good
get
to
that
see you,
stink
man.
bait on you, did you? You was playing with stink bait
hey.
a while ago.
You
Now
guys
it's on you.
that are watching the show, if you missed the first show, we had a little nose crinkler. Jason snuck up to the table and opened up a thing of stink bait and set it down here with us to enjoy throughout our interview with Aaron Wheatley. It's kind of hard to beat a guy like that. Where's your nephew Heath?
Sasquatch is outside.
He is outside.
Yeah.
He must be taking care of business.
Yeah. One of the guys you fish with all the time just called and trying to get directions to here or something, and so
He's liable to join us in.
it's real possible.
Are you finding any fish?
Yeah.
Are you catching any fish?
Well, that's half the reason my partner's not sitting here is because I cost him his personal best blue this morning. We went out and got to looking around and started fishing a little bit, and he turned around and he hooked into a good one. We didn't take a net. We're out playing. Gets it up the side of the boat, and it's flopping and rolling. He's waiting for me to grab it. He's doing somersaults and cartwheels, and I'm going,
Come
I'm thinking
on.
he'll tire out. He didn't tire out. His tail went straight up, his head went straight down, and the hook popped out and has probably a 50-pounder. So, yeah, that's
Great
probably,
fish.
That's probably why he's not here right now.
Great
He's still
fish.
not talking to me.
Heartbroken. Well, you got a chance to go back and get it Saturday morning. And when that rod goes down, let him have it.
Yeah, I bet. How do you guys do that? You take turns, or is it you have certain rods that you do, and he has certain rods that he does, or how do you guys do that?
Well, we got 6-year black horse
I
rods.
understand.
And no, the rods are different. He fishes one side of the boat, and I fish the other side of the boat. But when we get to messing around with cameras and stuff, it's kind of whoever's closer.
Whoever's not got the camera, or whoever's closest to the rods, is that how you do
Or
it?
sometimes, every once in a great while, I'll turn around and one of his poles will be bending over, so I'll break one off and pull it up, and he'll be tying a rig, and I wait for his pole to go down.
Oh man,
It's just
you
the way it
guys have a
works.
lot of fun fishing together and hunting together too, and you've been doing it a long time.
Been doing it a long time.
Yeah.
And it's one of them things that I couldn't do it with anybody else. We just have too much fun, and the teamwork works so well,
Yeah. The chemistry, the videos show it for themselves. If you go to Indiana Hunter and watch any of the videos, I mean, everything just works. They're cousins, but you would think they were brothers.
Nephew and uncle,
Yep,
right?
Uncle and nephew,
he's
that's
my
right.
nephew,
Yeah.
yep.
So, it's almost like cousins, but they're just, everything clicks and they know what each other's thinking every minute. And when you watch them videos, they're just so awesome. And what I was wanting to ask you is, when an event comes up like this, as much as y'all love deer hunting, and you could be hunting right now and Friday and Saturday instead and Sunday, what has Catfish got into you now that you don't mind coming and doing this instead of being there waiting on that big 12-pointer walk up on you?
Well, typically the way it works with us anyway, our hunting grounds get good the last week of October, beginning of November. We could be hunting now. We've been out in the stand a couple times, and we've seen some deer, just not what we wanted. But in a couple weeks, when they start rutting up and bucks get stupid and start chasing tail,
And they'll be to places they haven't been all year.
absolutely.
That's how that works.
And we don't have a great hunting ground. If you watch any of the videos, we've never been on a fence time. We don't hunt big woods. And it's one of them things that there's some great woods around us. Guys get in there, they push the deer out, they come to us, they chase the does out, bucks chase the does over to us. If we see a deer that we think's a shooter, you shoot it then. You don't wait thinking I'll get him next time.
Right.
We don't have that
See,
option.
y'all kind of hunt like strips between housing developments or whatever, where there's just strips of woods that channel from one place to the other,
I
or
wish we had
instead of being
strips.
wide open.
I wish we had strips. We hunt fence rows.
Do you?
Yep, up where we're at, the common thing now is people cash renting their ground.
Right.
And for the $3,000 it takes to rent a piece of property, I could buy a lot of beef. I could buy a lot of pork. but nobody wants to hunt the fence rows.
Mm-hmm.
So we sit on the fence rows and watch the deer run by. Sometimes they run the middle of the field. And every once in a while, we get one comes down that fence row to us. And
Well, you guys have killed some really nice animals.
we've killed some
The
nice,
smart ones are not going to run out in that field.
but we
So-
spend a lot of time doing it.
You do. But look at all the fun you guys have sitting in that stand together.
It's always fun.
It is, and
It's always fun.
I can't imagine you two doing that with anybody else unless maybe you'd have kids or nephews or something that would come along in the future that would do it. But you guys just been doing it so long, and you all get along so well.
My daughter Brooke hunts with me. We've had her out in a blind. You know, she had a stroke and she's got some problems. But the guys that made her crossbows build us a crossbow
That's
just for her.
such an outstanding deal.
That's awesome.
Sits on a tripod. She can crank it one-handed. And I've had her out in the blind a couple times. She'll get on one this year. She'll get on a good
Absolutely.
one.
You know, and while we're talking about Brooke, and I'm glad that she's doing so much better, I wanted to I brought you the belt
Absolutely.
that Troy Hansen made specifically so she can fish. And next year we'll all be looking forward to seeing some videos of Brooke catching some fish with that
And
belt.
you will. And Troy, if you're watching this, I'd like to thank you. It's something that we've been looking for. Living in northern Indiana, we don't see rigs, we don't see belts, we don't see harnesses. So you making one of those, it really does mean a lot.
It does, and he done a really good job. And we tested a little bit with it, played with it a little bit last night, and the butt caps of about anything you want to, whether she's catching channel cats or blues or flathead, she'll be able to get any of it in that.
Well, my favorite time to catch channel cats up by us is just coming up. The very end of October, about the time the deer start running.
Mm-hmm.
If it's warm, we're in the boat.
Yeah.
Instead of the deer stand, and we just bang the channel cats.
Well, isn't that a good time for flatheads around here too?
Flatheads fire up there at the end of October. They do as water starts to cool off. You've got a week or two of good flathead weather. Typically, if we're gonna flathead fish, it's May. In our neck of the woods, that second week of May is hard to beat. It's a fun one.
It is. Good times.
It's a fun one.
Good times.
That's when they'll hit cut bait, all kind of good stuff there.
I've caught more flatheads on cut bait than I ever have live bait, and everybody will tell you different. But
Right. I mean, as long as that bait's very fresh, it'll get them. They're not going to hit no stink bait, but very fresh quality cut bait, they're not going to turn it down.
and Keith caught a 37-pounder a couple weeks ago on a little piece of shad about this long.
Absolutely. They're all opportunists. They really are.
If bait hits them in the head, you're going to catch them.
That's for sure.
So you guys been on the water yet?
Just a little.
Have you found anything?
A lot of water.
There's a lot of water.
Need some bait. You bring any bait?
We've got some
Chuck's
bait.
out of bait too.
You know, Bassimore's got some stink bait sitting right over here.
Yeah, we got a load of that while ago. Thanks so much.
Yeah, well, I found some good spots, but I did too last year. And when I got to them, they were taken. So I'm not going to get my hopes up on anything because I know at least a couple of them are spots that have been found before that people already know about them because
There are so many boats here that
That's
there
right.
is no secret hole in this stretch of the river.
no.
And we were very fortunate this morning. There were guys around, but when we got into that blue, there was nobody within eyesight. Well, there was nobody within eyesight.
Oh, really?
The problem is we have one of the slower boats here. So with
I can relate.
With 150 boats, and
Yeah.
and we signed up late. We start like 130th or something. We get to that spot, and there may be 10 boats sitting on it. It's real possible. Last year we started 38th, and we made a run that was only a half a mile. And we had 4 spots picked out where we'd caught fish the day before. Started 40th, and in a half a mile, started 38th. Within a half a mile, every spot we had picked had boats sitting on it already. And the worst part was some of them boats started about 50th and
Yeah.
still beat us to the hole.
Yeah.
So
I live that life, so I understand exactly what you're saying.
Mhm.
Any sponsors or anybody you'd like to mention before time to go?
number one right off the top, our wives and family.
Absolutely. You can't be a competitive hunter or fisherman without the understanding of a good woman.
It is hard to believe how many hours we stay away from the family. You try to make them up in the summer, and you really try to make them up in the dead of winter when it's cold and the hunting season's not going anymore. But this time of year, we have hunting widows. We have fishing widows. There's no doubt.
That's you can't beat it with a stick. And if they understand where you're at with it, it sure makes life a lot
Well,
easier.
y'all go out and y'all include them in some of your videos and, on your Facebook page with pictures when y'all go out and have that time with the family, when y'all bring them out on the river fishing and stuff. And that's really great to watch y'all go out there and cut up with them. And I mean, I just laugh the way y'all do them and the way they do y'all. And it gets gut rolling sometimes watching y'all with them out there sometimes.
Yeah,
But it's great that y'all include them out there on them videos and stuff, because that right there is some of the best ones I've seen.
as far as sponsors go, we've got the Black Horse Custom Rods from you, Lyle. We love them. They are by far the best rods we have ever used.
Thank you.
And just absolutely adore them. I mean, we've had them stuck in some stuff that this morning I pulled in 15 foot of barge rope. covered in zebra mussels.
Really?
Yeah, that pole sits there and it bounces a couple times, and I'm thinking, I'm going to get him. It loads up. I set the hook right in the middle of that barge rope, but pulled it up the current. Thought I had a big stick on till you get it up there. But that pole, it should have snapped in half. I mean, whatever you're making them out of works. That pole should have broken half. No, the rods are great. They're beautiful. I mean, you did a great job putting the logo together and the Indiana Hunter stuff together, and you did a real nice job on them. Native Crossbows is taking good care of us. Rob at Whisperware Apparel.
You just
Can't thank him enough.
He's a great guy.
If you get a chance to get a hold of one of those new ones he's got over there, the activewear material,
Looking forward to that.
you'll think it's nice, but you're going to love it when it's 85 and sunny and you can roll the sleeves all the way down and the wind goes through it and you stay cool. You get wet, it dries out instantly. It is nice.
I'm
It is
anxious to
nice.
try those.
What about wearing it as your body layer when you hunt? You think that's
Well-
going to help when you sweat and walking to the stand and
It is.
sweating and then getting up there and
Definitely moisture wicking. I mean, as a base layer, it'll definitely pull the sweat off, which is a good thing. It'll keep you cool because you're not going to sweat. That's the biggest problem with hunting. You get too many clothes on.
Mm-hmm.
You get hot walking to the stand. You're sweaty. Then you get cold. If you can stay dry,
Right.
you're all right.
I agree 100%. I sure do.
I wish you luck this weekend. Not too much luck.
Just enough to beat
that's
you.
all. I mean,
Just enough to be behind us on the leaderboard. There's some guys that I want to see you beat down horrible, but it's not us.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm not gonna lie
Jason, my
about it.
friend, thank you so much for
man,
coming
thanks
on
for coming
Catfish
on.
Week, guys. Thank you. Hey, Terrence, you about ready? Chuck, we don't talk enough about guys like Indiana Hunter and the videos and the quality of stuff them guys put on for everybody for free.
mhm.
You just go in there and you can watch some of the best deer hunting shows, some of the best fishing shows, and they don't always catch a bunch of giant fish. They catch quality fish. They show you how to take care of them, how to release them, how to put them back in the water. Very educational, down home to earth guys, and they do a really nice
and
job.
the money that they spend on their equipment to produce these high definition quality videos, I mean, I don't even see any that good on WFN. I mean, some of them are, but you still see the Sportsman's Channel shows
that are like bees.
yes, and I mean, you got all the distortion or whatever you call it. Their videos is just so clear.
Yep.
And
Good quality equipment.
yeah, the equipment's great, and all that comes out of their pockets just
Yep.
so they can entertain us,
And that's
And,
what it is. Yeah,
and it's great.
it is. It's outstanding. Terrence, my man, how you doing, buddy?
Doing all right.
Thank you for joining us on Catfish Weekly. You set to tear them up Saturday?
I hope so.
I bet you do. You been out any last couple of days?
I've been out once or twice.
Once or twice? So there is some fish to be had. You haven't caught them all.
I left a couple out there.
That'd be good. That'd be good. 2 or 3 in one area and just head me in that direction. I'll be good to go. Who you fishing with?
My dad and my son.
Your dad and your son. Be a family affair. That's outstanding. That's the way to do it. Keep them young guys interested and taking your dad. That's just icing on the cake.
Has,
say so.
has your dad been into catfishing before, or is this something that you're just now getting him into?
He's more of the bank fisherman on the river. He's fished the river for 40 years, and we're just now starting with the boat. So it's pretty much totally different ball game.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, there's nothing better than family fishing together. My brother and I fished together for years and years, and my sons and I fished together, and Cindy and I fish together now. And I used to fish with a friend of mine that was like having a third son, Keith Atkins, and it's just family is family, and catfishing and family kind of go together. They really do. Really do.
See, Aaron took me out on his boat last year. I didn't know what drifting was. I didn't know what an eye palette was. Didn't know the lure ran so you can see your bait. And after that day, it's over with.
You was hooked, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, how bad was you hooked? Did you immediately start doing research, start picking out equipment, setting a budget for what you're going to buy first? I mean, it went that quick.
Oh, yeah.
It's just instantaneous.
It is.
It's very habit forming and addictive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's so different. You know, everybody goes out and crappie fishes their whole life. Everybody bluegill fishes. Everybody bank fishes for catfish. But when you get out there and start using these tactics that these professionals have come up with and proven as winners, and you start learning those things and you catch a 20-pound catfish, you know, who catches a 20-pound catfish? I mean, the biggest one I'd ever caught before 2010 was 27 pounds, and that was just pure luck on fiddle worms below the dam. And that was like the biggest catfish I'd ever seen in my life, and it was just, I thought it was going to be historic. So, I mean, that's just how easy it is to get hooked. You get out there and get that 30-pounder.
As Aaron says, he says, once you feel the thunder.
That's right. That is a very true
When you
statement.
hear that, see that rod bend down, touch that water, line starts pulling, it's over with. You're done.
Yep. And I'm not saying you won't go back and fish some other kinds of fish, but there will never be anything like that again until it happens again.
Oh, yeah.
Not in fresh water anyway.
Right. That's what I mean. Fresh water. There's, and you know, I see these guys that talk about these muskies, these 20-pound bass. Well, until you have a 60 or 70-pound blue or flathead, slam one down to where you can't pick the rod up out of the holder, you ain't been fishing yet.
Me and Brandon went out earlier this year, and I can't tell you where we're fishing at.
Oh, come on
It was
now.
in the river. And we had the best day on a river that we've ever had. We had 5 fish, and I think it was like 150-something pounds for 5 fish. And I mean,
Now you're talking about in the Owensboro pool.
yeah.
Now see, that just proves everything.
And I mean, I keep messing with Brandon. I said, "Hey, Brandon, right there."
That's 30-pound
One time,
average.
He done caught on to him, and that one time I slam that thing, pull and drag. And I said, Brandon. And he said, "Oh, what?" I said, "It's pull and drag." He's like, "Oh."
And that just gets your blood pumping, and, and then it's hooked. You are just so hooked. And then it can be so heartbreaking too. You know, when you lose that fish at the boat, or that rod bends down, you know, the rod tip goes into the water and he gets in the structure and you can't get him out. I mean, you can blow it off after 5 or 10 minutes, but sometimes you just want to lay down in the boat and cry. And everybody's like, a fish is going to make you cry? Yes.
Yeah.
When you lose that big fish.
If you've caught 2 or 3 good fish, and they don't have to be 100-pound fish, but quality fish, the next one you lose, it's a heartbreaker, and you don't forget it, and you don't get over it right away either, because you know what it could have been.
Yeah, we was fishing one day, and Brandon was dropping a line, and right when he was dropping the line, the one next to him just hits the water. Instead of, putting this one in a rod holder and grabbing and reeling down on it, he grabs it and goes like this. He still had the yellow rod in his hand. So here he is trying to fight this, and fights it for about 10 seconds, and he gets off.
Oh, man.
Rookie mistake.
Nah, and it happens. It happens, and you don't have to be a new guy to make those kind of mistakes, but you expect it out of what happened once in a while, and you know, we all still make mistakes once
And
in
a
a while.
lot of times it's just when it surprises you is when you make those mistakes.
It does.
When you're sitting there ready for it, you can concentrate, you can reel down correctly if you're using circle hooks or whatever. But you know, when you hear aluminum crackling and you turn around and all of a sudden you see the rod bent down the water, you know, you just go and grab it and oh no, I shouldn't have did that.
Right.
And you know, that's when most of the mistakes happens, when you get surprised and you're not able to focus.
Yep.
But everybody makes them.
And everybody gets excited. I don't care if you just started fishing yesterday or if you've been doing it for 40 years. If they don't excite you, you're probably doing something. You need to be doing something else for entertainment. If that don't excite you,
Yes,
it really does.
I've deer hunted all my life, and I deer hunted up to 2010. And the first time I went out, really targeting trophy blues, we had a really good day in the wintertime. It was about 45 degrees, nice overcast day. I hadn't deer hunted since.
I'm the same way. This is my second season I deer hunt, and I usually deer hunt go 60, 70 times a year. I just started catfishing and said, I'm done.
When you get that adrenaline rush that beats that rush that you get when you pull that trigger on that buck, when you get a better rush than that on that river, you're gonna follow that rush.
Because you can do that year round. You're going to deer hunt half the year.
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
I
Well,
spend just as much money deer hunting as I do catfish.
Right. And you can't do both, really. It's so hard to do both. And, you know, every family's on a budget. And catfishing isn't hardly expensive at all after you get the gear you need. And there's stuff you're going to have to replace here and there, and repairs to your boat here and there. Most of the time it's when you don't have no money and you got to fish the next weekend. But it's not that expensive after you get going, because you go catch your own baits and, you know, all that good stuff. It's excellent.
Well, Terrence, Aaron is kind of outdoing you.
Hey, Aaron, we're doing a TV show over here.
Oh, we're sorry.
Yeah.
Well, that's a waste of your time.
Come here, Aaron.
Right, he got a poem.
Come here, Aaron.
Yeah, someone just wrote a poem on monsters.
Well, come on over here and share it with us.
Read it over loud.
Or you might go boo.
I don't know who wrote this poem. Hey, what's up?
We're going to bust up my interview.
So I jumped on Facebook and I guess James Halcom from Indiana wrote this poem about monsters on the Ohio. This is my first try at reading it, so sometimes I don't read well, so take it easy on me. It says, "'Twas the night before monsters, and all through the town, not an angler was sleeping. It was soon to go down. Bassamore was closed, Jim Sparks asleep. We counted fresh skipjacks instead of those sheep. The rods were hanging from the rod racks with care, and hoped that the big catfish would soon be there. The moon eye, the shad, the skippies on ice, a meal for a big blue. These baits should suffice. The hooks were sharpened, all the knots were retied to ensure the thrill only monsters can provide. Mr. Wheatley is doing Owensboro proud and giving Sea Arc to a face in the crowd. The power pro strung, the reels locked and loaded, the sound of the takeoff like the river exploded. They came from all over with their catboats in tow. There was Goebel and Bivens and Casey Tudorow, Holcomb and Breadlove, Vanover and Dooley, some new guy named Anderson fishing with yours truly. Davidson, Douglas, Wallace, and Woo, all your good friends till their number is called. By 5 p.m. Saturday, a new champion will be crowned. By 6 p.m., the river desert, no sound. Good luck, everyone."
That's outstanding.
That's pretty good there. So I just wanted to stop in and drop that on Catfish Weekly. Got to go.
Thank you, buddy.
Awesome.
Dude, you made it. You made it in the poem.
Well, Terrence, you got anybody you'd like to thank? that you're going to be sponsoring or that's helped you in catfishing endeavors?
I like Bass and More. They've helped me out a lot.
They're great people, aren't they?
Yeah.
Really good people. Well, thank you for being on the show. Good luck down there. Don't beat me too bad. I'd appreciate it if I get a shot.
Y'all just remember, stay out of my spot.
Good to see you, buddy.
All right.
Terrence does so much, and people don't realize that Aaron has guys like Terrence, and Terrence helps Aaron Wheatley with the tournament, sets up stuff, and he helps Bass and More do a lot of things for him. And guys like that in this community is what's made this tournament what it is.
Yes.
We got another guy that we need to get on here. How you doing, Larry?
I'm doing good. How y'all?
We're great. We have Larry Muse going to join us on Catfish Weekly. We had him on the show here a few weeks ago. It was one of the greatest shows we'd ever had, and he is such a nice guy, and thank you for being with us.
I appreciate it. I appreciate all y'all.
Have you been finding any fish?
I hadn't even been in the water, but I figure that's where they're at.
I'm thinking you're right. I'm thinking you're
That's
right.
where I usually find them at.
Absolutely. Who you fishing with this week?
I've got my buddy Don Dalton from Corinth and Mr. John Stevens from Clarksville, Tennessee.
That's great. You guys are going to have a blast.
Oh yeah, we fished it last year and we had a big time.
Have you been to a tournament? And I know you go to tournaments everywhere and you fish a lot of big tournaments. Have you ever been to one that has so much support from the community as this one does?
Yeah, there is. You know, they're around the country that's got this much support, which I really appreciate the people of Owensboro, and they have really come through, and it's really a nice place, and we hadn't met anybody that we didn't like up here. I mean,
It's great.
everybody's helpful, and they're glad to see you, and you know, they all want to tip too, you know, as far as where to catch some fish and things like that. Oh, man, this is your water.
That's right. You're supposed to be
helping
telling me where the bait's at.
Yeah, but anyway, it's a lot of fun, and this is a real nice catfishing community, and I really appreciate them, man.
It is.
They really go the extra mile and go all out for us.
Yep, it really is. It's been so much fun to come down here, and we come every year. We have a blast, and I've said it on the show before. I may have said it when you was on with us before. If Cindy and I couldn't fish, we would come down here just to see everybody because it's where everybody's at.
Oh yeah.
You know, if they're into competitive catfishing, they're at this tournament.
Oh yeah.
And they may miss one, but they'll be back.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's an outstanding event.
You know, it's really great when these cities do this because they got one tournament a year that they can work all year toward building this stuff. Mm-hmm. And so it's going to be great. And other cities need to follow suit. These river towns, man, they need to follow suit and get on board and do the same thing and work with each other and kind of get them enough apart to afford to go to each one. And that's where the future of tournament catfishing is going as far as big cats and stuff. We still got the trails, the Cabela's Trail and the Bass Pro Trail that go around and these smaller rivers and different towns, smaller towns and towns that's far and widespread that's not right in the heart of big catfishing like these are. But that helps too because I don't know how many of these people started down in Rome, Georgia or down in Alabama in some of these little towns or up here in northern Illinois from a Bass Pro or Cabela's tournament that has been there and kind of introduced it and they think, well, it's right here, so I'm going to get in it. And they in the back of their mind, they're thinking, I can't compete with these guys. But once they do and they finish third place or second place or wherever they finished, or even if you get in the top 10, whenever Big Boys is in town, you've done well.
That's right.
And so that, you know, it just promotes the sport, and all of it's good.
Oh.
All of it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we got. That's what we got to know, and that's what to make this thing grow. If it ain't good for tournament catfishing, don't say it or don't do it.
Just leave it.
Yeah, everybody, let's make it grow. Let's
agree.
Be positive, no negative about any of it. Let's go. And I mean, you know, it's easy to find the stuff you don't like.
Oh, yeah.
But cutting somebody else's stuff down don't make your stuff look good.
It does not. It does not.
and that's what's going to make us grow when people get that positive attitude. And these towns, man, these towns putting on these things has really impressed me. That's
I'm
amazing.
very thrilled with the whole aspect of what they got going on here. And personally, I think Aaron does an excellent job. He's a great promoter of what he does. Everybody thinks the world of Aaron. He works his tail off to make this happen, and it shows. It just does.
And that's what it takes too, is somebody to take the lead. And when you take the lead, you're going to do most of the work. So
That's
get
the way
ready
that works.
for that.
Yeah.
But you got to have somebody to do that, you know.
That's exactly right. Well, it's a great event, and I'm really thrilled that you had time to stop in and visit with us. I have had so many calls about your tips and stuff, from the way you hooked up the stuff to the deal where you put the plastic hose on and make your leader thing. People have called and asked me. I said, man, you need to get a hold of Larry.
Man,
He's the guy that knows about that.
You'll be amazed at the messages on my phone and the pictures that people sent me and say, am I doing this right? Yeah, man. Yeah, that looks like
and giving you ideas now.
Yeah.
Use that.
And, and a lot of them's come back saying, wow, man, this really works. I caught this and I caught that. Man, I drug this thing through 2 miles of river and I ain't broke it off yet. I said, man, I'm telling you, it worked. And those roller poles, man, them poles with them rollers in them, that Cabela's tournament we just got 3rd place in. We caught one fish that wasn't on a roller pole. The rest of them was on them poles of roller. And I went and bought 2 more of them. And it's going to get to the point that I ain't going to have nothing in my boat that ain't got a roller on it.
So they're short biting on the.
It was tough. We was on old hickory. It was tough bite. We was suspend fishing. The fish would load your pole and turn it loose. Load your pole and turn it loose. You can ask any of them that was fishing it, because I know they were getting the same thing. They were getting bites. They just load it up a little bit and swim off from it. When they load that pole, that roller, down it'd go.
I put the first 6 on for a guy. I made an order for them because Chuck had said something about wanting them on a rod I'm doing for him. I run my supplier out. I just got the confirmation on the way down here the other night where those had come in. So when I get home, I have more rollers to put on for people. But I run them out.
Well, it really works on suspend fishing, which suspend fishing is art anyway. And it takes patience.
It really does.
But now I'm telling you, it will help you catch. It will increase your catch. Them rollers will help, especially. And I really think it's on fish, because a lot of the places that I fish is after I come in the day before. I get to pre-fish the day before. That's it. I've got a business.
Right.
I don't get to pre-fish all week. I fish the day before, but when I come in, half of those fish have done been caught that week.
So you catch them with a hook in their mouth.
Yeah, I feel like I'm fishing for fish that's already had a hold of a piece of braided line and felt it go through an eye. You know what I'm saying?
Have you seen a difference between mono and braid on finicky fish?
Well, and that's part of it, but you still got the power of braid and the non-stretch of braid, and the small diameter of braid. When you put that roller in there, you go back to getting the benefit that stretch that you're getting from monofilament. It ain't really stretched, but your pole works so much smoother.
You're using the action of the rod. And you know that, Larry, that's one thing that people tell me, so I'm breaking this or I'm breaking that. So, dude, you let the action of that rod do its job and that drag on that reel do its job, you'll never break anything.
That's right. But here's the deal. I mean, we get excited when we get a hold of a big catfish. Well, the harder you pull, harder he's gonna pull. And when you take all the bend out of that rod, guess what? There ain't nothing left between you and him but your drag.
That's it.
And that ain't enough. If he decides to surge, once you take all that bend out of the rod, I try to never bend my rod over halfway. I mean, I want to sometimes, but I just try not to bend. I like to leave enough spring still left in it. And with those pin signatures, and I'm using those roller rods, you don't get all the bend out of them. They just keep bending. Of course, they're stiff to start with, but that roller, they got to be stiff, because you put a roller in a limber rod, it's got the bends out of it right quick. You got to put a roller. You got to put a stiff rod to start with if you're going to put a roller in it, because a limber rod just won't handle rollers. It'll just take all the spring out of it. Anyway, it really amazed me that that people believed, that people believed me when I told them. But I mean, I'm not going to tell you, I ain't going to hell over no catfish.
Yeah.
Larry Muse is kind of like
But,
E.F. Hutton. When Larry Muse speaks, everybody's listening.
Oh yeah, they sure believed me. They sure believed my phone was crazy for a few days there on rollers. And what kind of rollers? This, that, and other. And man, am I putting these beads in there right? What if I use BBs? And you know, just a lot different.
You know, in a weather condition to where all it's going to take is 5 15-pound fish to win it on a finicky cold front bite. Any little advantage you got to get those 5 15-pounders in the boat, you're going to need, because you know you might have had 5 bites all day, and every one of them was a short bite, and they let go.
That's right.
And if you've got that advantage to where you caught all 5 of those fish, that could be a win.
That's exactly right. That's
Well,
exactly
now
right.
I want
Fine.
5 fish. I want 5 good bites Saturday, and I want to hook up on every one of them. If I lose them once they're hooked up, that's on me. But if I can hook up on 5, I'll be happy.
Mhm.
Because if I can do that, Cindy's going to hook up on 10. Larry, thank you for joining us this afternoon. We appreciate it so much that you would spend your time and come in and talk to Chuck and I. Thanks again.
All right. Well, I
Good to
sure
see you.
appreciate you
Thanks,
guys.
Larry.
And y'all keep up the good work.
Thank you very much. You don't get no better than sitting down talking to Larry Muse.
Oh
does it?
no,
It's
I could talk to him for hours.
Oh, I could too. And I know Chad's supposed to run in here, and if he doesn't come in here a minute, we'll take us another break and come back. But you can't beat guys like that, and the people that are willing to share information that you may not get anywhere else in the world from a Larry Muse or a Jeff Dodd or a Steve Douglas or some of them guys. You know, when they share information with you, it's something you probably can't get anywhere else.
Well, even if they're on a track where they're talking about something that you think that you're already really fluent in, and you know, and you think you know real good about what they're talking about, I would listen anyway, because there's going to be some stuff added in there that you don't know.
Right.
And the guys that think they know everything and they start listening to these guys, and they're going to miss those little tips that's going to be thrown in there that's going to make a difference.
Absolutely.
So, you know, even though somebody's sitting there talking and you think you know everything about it, keep listening, because you're going to pick up on some things that you didn't know.
That's exactly right. Now joining us is Chad Wall. How you doing, buddy?
How you doing, Lyle?
Good to
How you
see you,
doing,
man.
Chuck?
Good,
Did you have a safe trip?
Yeah, I did. Had a good trip down here.
Good
Early,
deal.
You know, early morning, missed all the traffic. It was nice.
Don't get no better than that.
Looking forward to this tournament, man. Can't wait for Saturday.
Going to be a big time. Going to be a big time. You all ready for it?
I think I am. I went out today and did some riding around, looking around, and found out a bunch of spots I don't want to go to.
You don't want to fish those?
Well, I showed up one spot I wanted to fish, but somebody was sitting there, so I had to go on.
Yeah.
Was that you didn't want that spot. No, it'll be okay. Did you see any spots that you fished previously in other years that you're going to go back to?
I checked out a couple today, and I don't know if I'll go back to them. I found a spot that I didn't know existed. Just happened up on it after I talked to you today, and it looked really good. It looked promising. I marked a lot of fish in there, and we caught one real quick and moved on.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Somebody sees you pull that fish in the boat, there's going to be 10 boats on it.
That was what was nice about this spot. There was nobody could see me where it was at.
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
That's right.
And it's not that you're lying to them. You just ain't sharing everything.
That's right.
Well, I mean, everybody's friends, but tournament time, it's every boat for themselves.
That's right, man. That's
because
big paycheck on the line.
Everybody's here to win, and you can share all the tactic information that you want, but you don't share no locations.
No.
You can say upriver, downriver, but that leaves it wide open also. But yeah, I mean, it's every boat for themselves. You got to you got to look out for you and your partner, because he's in it just as much as you are. So you don't want to give anything away that your partner wouldn't want you to tell anybody either, even though you're telling your best friend, because you may not be your partner's best friend.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's teamwork. So yeah, you got to keep everything that your team learns together just within the team and try your best to win this thing, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I'm real happy to have my regular partner with me this year. I fished with a couple different partners in past years on this tournament specifically, and I'm glad to have my regular partner in the boat with me this time. You know, we work good together like a fine old machine. So
That's great.
I'm really happy about having him in the boat with me.
Good
Awesome.
deal.
I know you've put on tournaments up and down the Ohio River for many years, you know, and you know, up north all over. You fished in lots of different tournaments. What would it mean to you to win this tournament?
Oh man,
Is it like would it be a dream come true?
it would. It would. I've been dreaming about it all month.
Right.
Since last year.
Yeah, and people don't understand. You know, it might $6,000, $7,000 is a lot of money split between two people, $3,500 a piece. But that's not what it's about.
No.
When you come here and you win, if you win this thing, it's a dream come true. The money's just a little bonus to ice it off, but it just means so much to people just to be able to win this thing. A top 10 is a win for me.
I did that last year.
Correct. Y'all did
And
really good.
Got
last
on the podium, and I tell you, there was nothing like it. That crowd cheering for us when we come through the weigh-in line. And our big fish was like 36 pounds. But when I held that thing up, the crowd just went wild. And
I was 1,000-pounder.
There's nothing like it. I mean, I couldn't have smiled no bigger.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember I was standing out there watching y'all, and yeah, it's just such a rush to see being in front of that crowd. You know, I heard a bunch of people talk last year that wanted to be put back in for the skunk award because they knew they didn't have a chance to place in the money. So they had a couple of small fish and just went ahead and released them because that's the only way they had a chance to win in any money is being put in as being skunked.
Oh, it's not about the money to me.
No, getting up there and holding up a 3-pound channel cat and weighing it in, that means more to me than being put in for a skunk bonus.
I'd rather have something to weigh in because this year Team Extreme's got a lot of giveaways when we come through the weigh-in line. We got some rods and reels giveaway to the kids, some hats and shirts and stuff for the rest of the crowd. We're going to make ourselves known out there. They're going to know we come through because we're going to throw out a lot of stuff.
That's awesome.
Great.
Sure is. So this your last tournament for the year, Chad?
No, I've got one more November 7th on the White River at Williams Dam. Be mainly a flathead channel cat tournament.
Good times, cold weather.
Yep. That'll be our last tournament of the season.
The flatheads will be right.
Yeah.
Then. It's going to be wide open.
Yeah.
That little 2-week span at the end of October when they're getting ready to go dormant for the winter and they needing to feed up, it's the time of the giants.
Yeah, that's why I scheduled this tournament for the 1st of November. Get that flathead bite going and see if we can get some big ones in the boat.
Oh, yeah.
Who's going? Somebody here? All right.
So tell us about that 24-foot boat you got.
Oh, the Excel Catfish Pro. Man, this thing is awesome. I love this boat. It's got a smooth ride to it. We're so long and wide. It just rides so smooth, dry. I got the consoles moved all the way forward on it, and it just rides great.
Was that an option, having them move forward?
Yes, it is. They will actually design the boat or build the boat any way you design it. If you want a single console, that's fine. Center console, dual consoles, forward or back, wherever you want them, they'll build it for you.
I seen like a graded drain down the floor. What's that graded drain for that goes in the middle of the floor?
Easy cleanup. Take it to the car wash, spray it out. It all runs right back to the back by your drain there. What doesn't run out the drain is easy to scoop right out with your hand.
That's
Right,
an
that's
excellent
awesome.
idea.
I didn't know what it was for. You know, I was like,
Yep, just easy cleanup. That grate is just awesome, and I love it.
cool.
Take it to the car wash
I
and
like
spray it
that.
out.
How big a live well's in it?
It's got a 66-gallon live well in it. Got a 18-gallon bait tank plus an 18-gallon cooler on the other console. And it's got a 30-gallon fuel cell in it. 24 foot, 3 inches long, 96 inches wide.
So that'll take you on a good run.
Yep. And runs pretty far, 30 gallons. That Evinrude, I got the 150 Evinrude E-Tech on it, and it gets good fuel mileage.
What kind of speed you get out of it with that 150 on it?
46, 48 mile an hour, fully loaded.
Wow,
ready
that's
to turn
moving
the
off
fish.
for 150.
Yeah, it runs real good.
It planes out really good, trims up really good.
As soon as you hammer it down, you start trimming it up. It's on plane just instantly.
Awesome.
Can't beat it. Can't beat it. Well, Chad, thank you for being on the show. Before we go, I read about your tournament over there.
The Iron Man?
The Iron Man looked like everything went really good.
Had a good time over there. Had
Chuck
45
Breedlove and them
boats.
guys put it on them.
Oh, man, Chuck and them just tore them up.
He is an outstanding guy.
I know where they were fishing at, too.
He'd be in trouble, won't he? Thank you so much for
Hey,
being
thanks,
with us
Travis.
today.
All right, man.
Thank you guys for all you're doing for the catfish world. We appreciate
All right. Thank you. Chuck and I will be back. We're going to take a short break, and we'll start again as soon as everybody gets wound up. Stay tuned for Catfish Weekly, Monsters of the Ohio edition from Owensboro, Kentucky, and Bass and more.